Lobsang Sangye, the Prime Minister of Tibetan government in exile, recently said, "Dalai Lama will live on. Xi Jinping will die." Don't see the statement in isolation. It came a day before a high-powered 7-member US delegation, which included the former US Speaker Nancy Pelosi, visited Dalai Lama in Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh. It was followed by the announcement that the US would not allow China to interfere in the succession of the Dalai Lama. Now, spirituality and politics may seem completely opposite, but the two are interconnected. Why does the succession of the next Dalai Lama matter? News9 Plus Decodes. So let's start with the obvious. Who is Dalai Lama? Now, Dalai Lama is the spiritual and sequential leader of the Tibetan people. This is a title, and Dalai Lama is a combination of Mongolian word Dalai, which means ocean, and Tibetan word Lama, which means guru or teacher. It embodies the concept of enlightened beings of continued lineage of specific teachings. The Dalai Lama signifies a divine incarnation, an emperor or the ruler taking a human form on earth. He is also the symbol of the unification of the state of Tibet, and he represents Buddhist values and traditions. The current Dalai Lama is the 14th Dalai Lama, and he lives in exile as a refugee in India, as China has occupied Tibet since 1951. How is the Dalai Lama chosen? Well, when a Dalai Lama dies, or even before their death, a successor is found rather than chosen. Traditionally, senior Tibetan monks conduct an elaborate quest to find a child who is Dalai Lama's next incarnation. The search involves consulting oracles, interpreting visions, reading spiritual signs. It normally takes years to identify his reincarnated form. Tenzin Gyatso, the current Dalai Lama, was identified in 1937, 4 years after the 13th Dalai Lama died, and it was only on the 22nd of February 1940 that he was enthroned as the 14th Dalai Lama. Now, the 86-year-old Dalai Lama has insisted that according to his own visions, he will live up to 113 years. But a power struggle for who will choose his reincarnation after he dies has already begun. Why does China want to choose the next Dalai Lama? Well, Dalai Lama's succession is a matter of geopolitical importance. For decades, the present Dalai Lama has been a thorn in the side of the CCP. Ever since 1959, when Dalai Lama arrived in Dharamshala, Tibet has remained a sensitive factor in India's relationship with China, with whom it shares 2,000-mile border. Now, a Chinese-chosen Dalai Lama could be weaponized by China to finally settle the Tibet issue. But the dispute is not just between China and the Tibetans. According to Dalai Lama, his reincarnation may be identified outside Tibet, perhaps in India, where he fled to in 1959 after a failed Tibetan uprising against the Chinese rule. And then, in recent months, America too has weighed in. In December, the US Congress passed the Tibet Policy and Support Act. It states that only Tibetans can choose the next Dalai Lama, and that Chinese officials who interfere will be subject to sanctions. Penpa Tsering is the president of the parliament in exile and works closely with the Dalai Lama. He said a non-believer atheist government like China interfering in Tibetan spiritual matters is a complete no-no. It cannot be accepted. The world has turned against China. We firmly believe no one will trust their choice. And this is where the things stand for now.